Mark Dallas is a lecturer in Cellular and Molecular Neuroscience at the University of Reading. Mark joins us now. Mark, I think probably every single adult in the world knows someone who's been affected by Alzheimer's. Why are we so behind in the fight against this disease?
I think first and foremost, this is really exciting news to share with the global community about the chances to actually provide an opportunity and a treatment to tackle dementia and Alzheimer's disease. One of the reasons why we may be struggling is the brain is such a complex organ. We still really don't fundamentally understand what it does in normal aging, let alone what it does under disease processes.
How interesting is it to you that it's a seaweed-based drug? Is there something in the natural world that has shown to be more effective than all of the other previous drugs that have been tried that are currently being used by Alzheimer's sufferers?
Yeah, I think it is interesting to me as a scientist. Nature maybe knows best, and there are a host of other medicines that are approved for a range of clinical conditions that have started out from natural compounds. I think this opportunity to harness nature's power to actually prove something that's actually functionally useful in a complex brain disease is something that is exciting to the science community as well.
Can you just explain the difference for people like me, laymen, the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's?
Yes, I mean, these are two sort of interchangeable terms which are used widely. In terms of dementia, that's an umbrella term that describes the symptoms that are associated with a decline in brain function. Alzheimer's disease is a particular type of dementia that accounts for some 60 to 80% of people living with dementia.
Is it one of the biggest challenges for the medical community, along with cancer? Is cancer and is Alzheimer's, are they the two things that the medical community is most concentrating on, or is it something that possibly we might be more obsessed with in the West? As we begin to live longer, our life expectancies, they give us more, I suppose, the probabilities of getting some kind of brain disorder, because earlier we would have died and people would have said, oh, well, that person's old, they're just a little bit confused. Now we know that it's actually Alzheimer's or dementia. It's a proper medical condition. It's not just old age.
Yeah, I think there's two things to highlight there. In terms of the cancer world, we've come on leaps and bounds in terms of research there and actually affording new treatments, and actually outcomes for cancer patients are much better than they were a decade ago. That contrasts to Alzheimer's disease, where now we're starting to understand some of the changes in the brain that occur as part of the disease and starting to come up with new targets and new opportunities for medicines. In terms of us all living longer, that obviously is one of the greatest risk factors of developing dementia or Alzheimer's disease is growing old, unfortunately.
Just, Mark, finally, how closely are you going to follow what's happening with this drug in China? I mean, at what stage do you think it's going to become some kind of real hope rather than what's out there at the moment and something improved on what's out there at the moment? When can we possibly be looking for those kind of results that will encourage everybody else around the world outside of China?
Yes, so this has been locally approved in China. The next stage is for a multinational centre trial to increase the number of patients and increase the geographical spread of these patients to look to see if the repeat results are observed. So I guess we'll look at maybe 5 years down the line before we can get more sort of wider approval across the world to make this accessible as a medicine and something that really gives hope to people suffering from dementia.
Mark, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mark Dallas from the University of Reading.